Oh, too soon. What's up, everybody? My name is Daniel Unmanageable, and this is Hard Knocks Talks. First of all, I would like to say that this episode is brought to you in part by the Prairie Node of the Canadian Research Initiative in Substance Misuse and Prairie Sky Recovery Center. So, tonight is another landmark episode. We have in-house a producer. So I don't have to worry about making mistakes anymore and not having things right and having the wrong things go off at the right time and whatever that means. So if anything goes wrong, you can blame Riley Housen. From this point on, known as Mr. House. Say what's up, Mr. House.
Hello.
All right. Okay. That is our prestigious Pelletier in the background laughing away. So tonight's guest, Owen, prestigious Pelletier, has got a story from foster care to gang life to incarceration. And when he turned it all around, he became an inspirational, motivational speaker and advocate. And we are going to meet him right after this. Nice work, Mr. House. Keep that shit coming.
I spent 23 years living in addiction. 16 of those years I worked as a Red Seal tradesperson in Saskatchewan and Northern Alberta. During that time, I made many mistakes and took more than a few hard knocks. I went from tradesman to business owner to hiding from gang members and dumpster diving. But with that lived experience, I've decided to try and make a change. I've dedicated my life to raising awareness and promoting change in the fields of substance use and psychological health and safety. So join me and my guests as we take off the blinders around mental health in our communities and at work and shine a light on what's working and what's not working in the fields of mental health and occupational health and safety. I'm Daniel Unmanageable, and I'll be your host, and this is Hard Knocks Talks.
All right. Okay. Where's Owen? Bring him on in. What's up, Owen?
Good evening, Daniel. Thanks for having me on the show.
No
Appreciate
problem,
it.
man. No problem. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling great, man. Better than good.
All right, man. Right on. Okay, well, are you ready to dip into the flashback?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right. Let's jump in. So when we were talking, you said you had a very distinct first memory. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I was born in Moose Jaw in 82, August 6th. And, I was raised by my parents. They were around. But for some reason, I don't really remember a whole lot of that time. One memory does stick out, though. And so it's me and my sister. I'm 4 years old. She's 6 years old. And we're locked in the bedroom, man. It's summertime. I could hear kids outside playing. I have a little toy hammer with me, and I'm hitting the windowsill. And I'm telling my sister, don't worry, I'm going to get us out. We'll go outside. We'll play, have fun with the kids. And I'm really seriously hitting this hammer on this windowsill, trying to get us out. And I couldn't get us out. And there's a door. As you knock, you hammer, you yell at the door. There's never any answer. It's locked. And yeah, that's my memory. That's my memory from back then. That's pretty much all I remember from back then. And I'm not sure if I blocked out the rest of the memories or what, but that's all that I have from back then.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what it was like then. What was it like growing up for you?
Okay, so what I usually tell people is that, my mom was in residential schools and my dad was a victim of the 60s scoop. Him and his siblings were all split up. So when my parents got together, started having children, those intergenerational traumas were already there waiting for me. my identity, my language, my culture. It was like it was torn before I was born. So I was born into, abandonment, addiction, and neglect. And that's what I remember. So at 5 years old, my dad had left my mom, went to Regina with another woman, and my mom packed us up kids, chased my dad to Regina. She's leaving us home alone. She's out there. We're missing a lot of school. Teachers take notice. We live a block away from the school. Teachers come look in the window. They see us kids home alone. They made the call to social services. So at 5 years old, two Caucasian ladies came and showed up at our door. They knocked. We let them in. They kind of assessed the situation quick. And they said, all right, kids, let's go. We're going. And I'm 5 years old. All I could think about was, just hold on a second. I climb out on the counter and I pull out the cookies. And she's like, yeah, grab the cookies, bring the cookies. Come on. And I had my little bag of cookies. I was happy to get it and take me wherever you want. I got the cookies.
Yeah. So you remember the day that you went into care?
I do remember the day they took me and my three sisters and they put us at the welfare building downtown. And I remember sitting in the hallway on some chairs. And, no one explained, this is what's happening. This is what's going on. Nobody explained anything like that. I don't remember anything like that. So me and my three sisters were all placed in a foster home together with an older couple on a farm or something for like 2 weeks. And then after that, they split up. My two older sisters went one way and me and my baby sister went another way. Yeah. And so me and my baby sister went to another foster home, and the social workers took us there. They had a chat with the caregiver, and they didn't chat with us or tell us what was going on, and then they walked away. And that was it. It was just like, okay, bye, another person leaving, see you. No tears, no feeling, no nothing like that. Just, all right. And so I remember...
You mean from you, there was no emotion? You don't remember feeling sad or anything? It was just another day for you?
No, and I was asked that question, did I cry when that happened? And I was like, no, I didn't cry. I was already hardened at that age. I was already hardened and you kind of used to being left alone and being on my own, or, it was already, that's how it was. Mm-hmm. So when we went into this foster home, everything was foreign to me. The faces were foreign. Even though they were speaking English, still the words and the language, the way they were speaking, it was foreign to me. The food that they served us, I wasn't used to. This was not my place. This was not my scene. These were not my people. I was like, what's going on? But nobody took that time to explain, this is what's going on. This is how long you have, there was none of that. And I think it's because we were children, but still, you got to explain something to the children. You can't just leave them hanging like that.
Yeah, no kidding. What was it like in school for you?
So yeah, I started school, and this was a non-Indigenous family that me and my sister were living with. We went to school, there was no Indigenous students at the school. Mm-hmm. There was none of them. So I stood out right away because I'm Indigenous, and so I was getting picked on, bullied, discriminated against. I remember being called racist names and not knowing what they meant. I was being called the wagon burner and stuff like that. I remember thinking, why would he call me a wagon burner? What does that mean? I'm a child. I don't understand. I don't know. But they're saying it in a mean way. So, we're feeling beings. We can feel when someone is being mean to us. So I felt that. I was like, oh, okay, this is not good, right? So it was alone. It was a lonely time. I remember, being alone a lot. There was a bully in school. He used to wait for me after school. I used to have to run home after school just to try and avoid this guy all the time. And so it was a lot of going within and closing off. And then so the teachers would see that, and they thought that I had a disability because I was acting out in class. I wasn't listening to the teachers. I was frustrated. And I attribute this to not getting the love, the respect, and the attention that every child deserves to have. I wasn't getting that. So I was acting out, seeking that. And so when I acted out, they were giving me attention, right? So this is what children do. Yeah. Here they put me in the special classroom by myself, the stupid classroom, and then the other kids go by and ha, stupid, and all of that. Mm-hmm. So, I don't remember a lot of good memories from that time in my life. I remember feeling lonely and wondering why I had to be in this foster home, what I did wrong, how long I have to stay there. These are all open questions that nobody took time to explain to me.
Yeah. Did you make any friends while you were in school?
I did make a couple of friends for sure. I made a couple of friends throughout those years. So I ended up staying in that foster home for close to 7 years. So yeah, I did make a couple of friends, but for the most part, it was challenging. It was challenging trying to find my way through that whole situation in my life, that whole experience.
Yeah. Um, so how long were you in care?
7 years. So in that home, I was in there for about 7 years, and before that, it was kind of in and out, in and out. And I had recently, last summer, I requested my welfare records, my adoption records from the ministry, and it shows clearly in there that I was first apprehended at 2 months old, and then a few more times before age 4. So like 4 times before age 4, and then at age 5, and then permanent ward at age 5 for 7 years. And then at that time, like I was having visits with my family. My auntie would, she had my two older sisters, and she would, we'd come and have visits together, and I'd see my uncle and my grandpa and stuff. So there was little visits in between, trying to kind of keep so we know each other, I guess. And so I was in there for 7 years. After 7 years, my auntie adopted my sister and I back. I was back with my two older sisters, and it was kind of a reunion of sorts, and that was good. But it wasn't all rainbows there either.
So what was that environment like when you went back with your family?
Well, it was good at first because you're like, okay, I'm not in the foster home no more. I'm back with my people. But
Yeah.
when you take a child away from their family for that amount of years, and then you put them back with their family, you can't expect it to just be like, oh yeah, there was issues there. I didn't really know my auntie that well, and she was also raised in the residential schools, and there was a lot of corporal punishment, mental, physical, verbal abuse. And so we can only give what we have. My auntie was taught this way. This is how she's trying to teach us. She's yelling at us. She's, using verbal bad words and all that. And so
Was
it wasn't
there
working well for me. We were clashing all the time.
Yeah. Was there substance use?
My auntie, she would drink once in a while, not heavily, but at the same time, when she did, she would party. She'd have friends over. The music would be up loud late at night. Us kids would be sleeping upstairs, and she had one of those old big square uh, record player things that just booms
Yeah,
the
yeah.
whole house. So you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
Garth Brooks playing, thunder rolls, lightning strikes, middle of the night, full blast. I like that song now because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
So this is the one. These are the big wooden cabinets where you have to lift up the thing to get the record in
Right, you
there, and it's
lift
got
up the
the
thing. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Right on, deadly. So how old were you when you first took a crack at using?
So I was about, I would say, 11, 12 years old. I'm going to school in Regina. I'm meeting new friends, and some of my friends are experimenting with that stuff. So we started with the weed, and oil was a thing back then, and then the
Mhm.
smoking, right? And then the drinking started. And so like right around this time, I'm not getting along with my auntie. I'm kind of getting into trouble. I had went and got caught shoplifting. The police brought me home. She was not too pleased about that. She put on her cowboy boots and chose to discipline me that way. And I was really hurt. I was pissed off by that. And I was like, yo, I'm not going to play this. So I started staying out one night at a time. And then it
Mhm.
just slowly progressed to the point where I'm running away from home, and I'm living on the streets with my friends. I'm staying on couches, and I'm just, want to be with my friends. That's what
Yeah,
kids at that age want to do. Age 12, 13. I'm getting into it, the drugs and the alcohol heavily.
yeah, yeah.
And as we all know, these things are not free. So
Mhm.
how's a 13-year-old supposed to pay for drugs and alcohol and cigarettes, right?
Yeah,
Well, we start stealing, start breaking into cars, start stealing car stereos, stealing purses, robbing people.
yeah.
It was just like a regular thing. I was being trained into this whole way of life.
So after you started using, were you just all in right away, or did it take some time before this started happening?
I would say all in right away. You know, when I first started using it was slow at that time. Friends were providing it and that, but then you get to that point where you're like, okay, I want it for myself. How am I going to get it? Got to start stealing. So we just start stealing. Just became a natural thing, and you can only be into that lifestyle for so long before you get into trouble. And the police at age 13 ended up getting a hold of me and arresting me, putting the cuffs on me, and taking me to jail.
Uh-huh.
In Regina, it's the Paul Dojack Youth Center, closed custody facility for the youth.
Dojack.
So at age 13, that's where I went. Dojack, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in that, you hear about it at that age, and so I'm going there, and I'm scared, man. Like, you know, really big time scared. Like, never been there. I'm freaking out. Not much I could do. They put me in there, and you know, I was scared. And then the guy started talking to me, and they were friendly. The guys like me, they were friendly. They're older than me, and they were just. It was almost as if they just opened their arms and be like, "Yeah, come here, little homie. We got you, man. We'll show you the ropes. This, that," and just they broke it down for me, and you know, it was like that, and it was good. And what I realized was a lot of the guys who were in there were going through the same kind of experiences that I had went through. The foster care, the disattachment problems, and you know, the intergenerational traumas. Not even a clue of what those were at that time, though, but deeply suffering from them.
So when you were in there, did you have any like services? Were there any professionals coming in there and offering assistance or help, someone to talk to?
Well, I don't really remember anything like that, but there was counselors there. So you like a case manager, you're a counselor, you know, they give you a counselor. So I met so many people, and I could tell majority of them, they were just there to check boxes and, you know, lock you up and go grab their check and go home. It was a job for them. It wasn't coming from here, from that place, that they really cared. However, when I met this one staff, he was different. He really cared. He would have these deep conversations with me about my past and my future, about what I wanted to do. And it's like there's not enough emphasis given on it, but when you meet someone and you engage in conversation, you can feel that person. You can feel what their intentions are, if they're pure or not, right? You can feel that out within that first 30 seconds easily. So this guy cared a lot, and I remember that, and I remember that to this day because of the effect, the way he made me feel. Like, this guy cared, right?
Yeah. Oh, how long were you in for the first time?
The first time it wasn't very long. Like the first time you go into jail, you know, whatever the petty theft charge or whatever, you go in there for maybe a couple days or a week. And I remember my auntie got me out and she bailed me out, and we went to powwow. She took me on the powwow trail. We went to powwow. We had a good time, and you know, it was just like I could tell that she cared and she wanted to help me. But I was at that age where I didn't know how to communicate in a healthy way. And I was a runner, man. That's what I was. I was a runner. I would always run away, and that's what I ended up doing. I just didn't have the tools to learn how to conversate and work problems out. So I wasn't able to do that effectively with her. And then the same thing, it was reciprocal as well. She didn't really know how as well. So we had a hard time communicating effectively, like talking about issues and stuff.
So when you got out, you went to Coesis. Did I say that right? I hope I said that right.
It's close. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
Houses.
Coesis, because we practiced. When we were talking last week, we practiced. But like, you know, you get the lights turned on, and it's like, oh no, you know. So how was that?
Okay, so yeah, I was in and out of Dojack for a majority of my teenage years. If I wasn't in Dojack, I was on the streets, stealing cars, breaking the houses, living with my friends. And that was my whole teenage years. I spent more time in Dojack as a teen than I did on the streets. They tried to put me in high school, wouldn't work, ran away. And finally at age 17, I'm doing a year sentence, and I'm about 7-8 months into it. And they say, oh, we have an opportunity for you to get out early. If you want to get out early, you got to go live on your reserve. Because the judge said I was a threat to the city. You know, they didn't want me in the city anymore. And I had never been to Cowses. I didn't have any family out there that I was aware of. but I wanted to get out of jail early. So of course I'm like, where do I sign? Sign me up, right? Away we go.
Mm-hmm.
And so this family, I was
Off we go.
fortunate. This family came and adopted me.
Yeah.
Warren and Gina Daniels,
Oh, yeah.
Gina the Valley, the Valley family adopted me on Cowses, and they took me in. And so that was really good. You
So
know,
you went
I
to high
helped
school
them
there?
watch their. I went to high school. I helped them watch their daughters. And so
Yeah.
what I tell people is there's not a lot of crime to get in on the res. However, I did manage to get into a little bit of crime, a little bit of trouble,
That'd
which
be
I
weirder
regret.
if you didn't.
And then the drugs and alcohol are still out there.
Yeah.
I'm suffering inside. I'm unaware of it. I don't know that. So I'm numbing my pains. That's why people use drugs and alcohol, numb those pains, right?
Yeah.
So I was fortunate. I made it through high school. I
How,
graduated in 2003.
and how was it? Like, how was high school? Did you make some friends in high school?
Yeah, I made friends in high school for sure. You know how high school is, certain little groups or
Yeah.
certain little cliques, they click up and, you know, you have them, you have that. So I
Mm-hmm.
found my little stoner clique, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. And then you moved back to Saskatoon again.
Yeah, so
So
I
did they
graduated.
did you have to get clearance for that? Or did you have like, can I come back or what? And or did you just
No. So I didn't ask anybody as far as I was concerned. I was a teen at that time when they kicked me out of the city. I didn't get no paperwork that saying you're kicked out of the city. They just kind of more or
I'd
less
frame
said,
that
go over
shit. That'd be
here.
awesome.
So, you know, yeah, but I didn't ask anybody. I wanted to pursue university, U of S, psychology degree. I've always been fascinated by the human mind and why people act the way that they do, what makes them tick. I've always been interested in that. So I was like, I'm going to do psychology degree right on. So I moved to
Uh-huh.
Saskatoon, stayed with Gina's dad out there, and I went to university. And that was challenging
Yeah.
as a teen, fresh off the res, big lights, bright city, no financial management skills. They pay you once a month. That's gone in
That's
like a
on you. Hey,
day.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, it was a challenging time as well. After
Yeah.
a year and a half, my grades started dropping, my attendance was dropping, so they politely RTD, request to discontinue.
Yeah.
And I had already had my daughter at this time. She was born. So her mom came to Saskatoon and kind of wanted to, you know, get back together, try and make it work. I said, hey, yeah, let's try this. And so she got pregnant with my son. And on 2005, January 2nd, my son was born. And so I'm kicked out of school at this time. My son is born. I'm still in active addiction, using and drinking quite a bit. Like I'm there. I cut the cord and I'm half snapped when I'm cutting the cord. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because it was just New Year's yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And so my son was born, and me and his mom were not getting along. Things were not good there. I was kicked out of school. We're arguing all the time. Things are not going good. I'm not feeling good. And I said, okay, I had enough. I'm going back to Regina. And that's where I went. I went back to Regina to go stay with my sisters out there.
Yeah. And how long was it after you moved to Regina that you started getting involved with gangs?
Yeah, so the guys that I grew up with in Dojack, they're all in the game now. I wasn't, because I went to the res and I went to Saskatoon, so I had that little bit of a break, right? And I was trying to pursue this healthier life. But when that all went to crap and I gave up on that, and so I'm in Regina, I'm drinking, I'm numbing my pains. Like I was drinking a cooler a day, and I go seek out my bros to go and party with them, and they let me party with them for a while. Yeah, come party, bro. They remember me from the youth and all that. But they're all gangsters now. They're all down with the game. They're official, right? They let me hang for a bit, and then after a while, they're like, "Hey, man, you know, you can't really hang with us unless you're down with the game. You want to hang with us, you got to get down. Otherwise, you got to get out of here."
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm thinking about it. I don't feel like there's a lot of options. I feel hopeless. I don't feel like I have a lot of support. These guys are the only ones that are showing me some love right now. I was like,
Yeah.
all right, man, let's do this. So, you know, I said, yeah, let's do this. They took me out to the res, hands on my head, behind my head. They timing it on a watch, 60 seconds, no fighting back. It's minute time, initiation time. You
How
take
was
that
that?
minute. Oh, that was brutal.
Was it just fists, or were they using weapons too, or what?
They weren't using weapons. They're using fists and feet and stomping and kicking and all that.
Yeah.
So after that, they time it for a minute. They pick you up. They give you a hug. Okay, you're down now. All busted up, looking like the Elephant Man, trying to go back and have some more drinks, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
the absurdity of it, and that this continues to this day. This is
Yeah.
how it goes, man.
So how was gang life?
Gang life was rough. I wanted to join a gang because I wanted to be cool. I wanted to have money. I wanted to have that respect and that power and feel like it was a part of something, right?
Yeah.
I hadn't had that feeling, so I wanted that, and all my bros were making it look cool, and so I joined up, and you have a higher up. He says, "Here's some work. Here's some dope. Go and sell it. Bring me back the money, and if you don't, minute time." So, you're constantly living under somebody's direction and orders of what to do. I mean, there were some good times too, but majority of it was bad. There's a lot of suffering. You're doing these drugs as you're selling them, so you're only selling them so you can keep on doing them. So you're caught in your own trap, pretty much.
Yeah.
Repetitive cycle, and there's in and out of jail countless times for different things, drinking, partying, getting blacked out, not knowing what happened, getting in gang fights, shooting at people, just craziness.
Shooting at people. Shit, that's serious, man.
Shooting at people, drive-bys, that's the gang life, man.
Yeah. So you ended up getting a job too, like a legitimate job.
I did.
One more thing. Sorry, I was thinking when you were talking about getting more minutes, did you ever get any more minutes, or did you just to get jumped in?
No, I've gotten more minutes than that. I've got some disciplined minutes for sure. And then there's sometimes, like it depends who's in charge or whatever, but sometimes guys have been known to call minutes that weren't authorized or weren't worthy of having. Like you saw, "Oh, you messed around with my baby mama. I'm a higher up. Guys, give him a minute." Stuff like that. I never got a minute for that, but I got a minute for messing up with the dope money because I was using. So I wasn't coming back right with it. So I got a first minute for that. Yeah, it was bad, man.
Yeah.
You get these minutes and you're scared for your life. You're not sure. I've seen people get minutes that they're not the same. They're different. You know what I mean? They get brain damage. Their body gets messed up. Some people get killed. This is a real life.
Yeah. So, I'm trying to put it together. So you became a welder.
I did.
During
So I was
all of this.
fortunate. I'm in Regina. I'm going to construction careers, trying to get a job. They give you boots and tools and that. On sudden, they have a program coming up, level 1 welding. So I was like, hey, I applied for it. I have my grade 12. That was the only requirement if you're healthy. And so I got into the welding program. It was a 22-week applied welding program. I was really grateful for that because, I was wanting and needing something at that time in my life. They took me in, they gave me the boots, they trained me up, they showed me how to weld, they even gave me a work placement at Sekundiak, and I went welding. And so I was a welder for 10 years. And when I first started welding, I was hungry, excited. I loved it. Yeah, I'm a welder. I was proud, right?
Yeah,
I'm proud to be a welder. And I did that good for a while. I really enjoyed it. It was a good career.
Were you still using during that time frame?
I was still using during that time frame. I was still gained up at that time too, but I just wasn't announcing it to everybody. But people know.
Yeah. So how did you switch gears? You're out all night doing gang shit, and then 7 a.m. comes along. Oh, it's time to punch in. What was that like for you? Was that a challenge for you, or?
Yeah, it is challenging. So, you live this gang life, you're selling drugs and you're stealing and you're robbing people, but it's not consistent like a paycheck every 2 weeks. It's not consistent like that. So it's sporadic. So you never know when you're getting money or not. We all need money to live. I'm like, I need money. That's why I'm going to construction careers in the first place. I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for a regular paycheck. So when I finally got into that welding course, doing that, it helped me to transition from staying up all night to sleeping and going to work the next day.
Yeah.
So, but when I went to work, the addictions were still there. I was missing days because I'd party. You'd get your check, party time.
Well, I
Party
guess.
time. You're not there Monday,
Yeah, yeah.
and
So,
it's just,
did
it's
your did
bad.
your employers or your coworkers ever say anything to you? Like, are you okay? Like, can we help you? Like, what's going on? Anything like that?
Yeah, no, nothing like that. In my welding career, I must have held about 5 or 6 different welding positions, and none of them ever said that. And all of the jobs, I showed the problems that I was going through. My eyes would be funky, I'd be missing work and stuff like that. They could probably smell it on me, but nobody ever stopped to say, "Hey, you okay? You need any help?" There's never
Yeah.
nothing like that. It's more just the looks and the judgments that
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
feel.
Well,
That's
so
about
you were
it.
being judged on the behavior, right? So
Yes,
no
on
one
the
ever
behavior.
no one ever really put a second thought into maybe there's a deeper problem, and if they did, they certainly didn't say anything. I went through the same thing. Like I'm a journeyman welder as well. So when you went into this trade school, did you come out of that with a level 1 education, like with a level 1 apprentice? Was that what that was?
Yeah, that was a level one apprentice. Yes.
Okay. Did you continue on with that? Like, did you get your third and journeyman?
I did continue on with it. I was a welder for 10 years. And so, as a gangster slash welder, I was taking time away from my Like, I'd lose a job welding, and I'd say, all right, F it. And I'd go hit the streets and go and do the gangster thing and make that money for a while, party up for a while, get tired of that, go back to the welding. Okay, I'm ready to go back to work,
Yeah.
and
Well,
then mess up with that and go back and forth.
all welders are a little bit gangster. Just saying.
True.
We got a
So,
comment coming in here. Let's
okay.
see here. Mr. House, throw it up. We've got Wilmina. Wilmina. I hope I'm saying that right. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the comment. Wilmina says, "Do you think that provincial prisons should teach welding and other skills so people have other options after prison?"
Absolutely, I think so for sure. That'd be great. A
Yeah.
lot of the guys who go in there don't have skills, and it's hard. It's hard to go and get a job when you don't have skills. I was there with no skills, no schooling, sitting there and wanting a job and wanting to do well, but there was nothing there for me. I didn't know where to look for the resources. I didn't know who to ask. And so I go to what I know, stealing. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's the story with a lot of guys out there.
Yeah.
It's
So
changing now, though.
it's starting to. Big wheels turn slow,
Yeah.
but we are starting to see some change, aren't we? So, how long did you hold a job down for? I mean, I know you mentioned you had several different ones, but like, how long was your career before you just couldn't do it anymore?
See, I don't know. I had a job at Curtis Construction there for close to a year before I messed that up. I worked at a lot of different, some of them were only a month, some were 2 months, some were 6 months. And so, as I was telling my friend the other day, about a year and a half is the longest that I've ever had a job. And that one was at ABC Welding. That was close to 2 years. And that was the longest job I ever had. And I was on house arrest for half of that. So, that's what helped me to kind of stay in check with that.
Yeah. We've got another comment coming in from Dana. Let's see here. Dana, thanks for the comment tonight. You always know Dana's going to say something political. Our systems are not set up for people to succeed. Yes, that is true, Dana. And we've got Roberta chiming in as well. Let's see, she says, thanks, Roberta, for chiming in. She says, seems like such a simple, obvious solution. Yes, some training in prison and some mentorship could go a long way if it was done correctly. I agree, Roberta. Thanks for the comment. So what was the next, what was next? You gave up on a welding career and you went back into gang life full time, or what happened next?
Well, so I'm welding in 2016, and I'm still in the gain life at that time. And so, I end up getting laid off to go to school to level up for level two welding. And so I'm in Moose Jaw doing the level two welding. And, before that, well, I leveled up. No, I didn't level up. I forget. I got picked up by the police is what happened. So in 2013, 2012, going on to 13, New Year's Eve, we're selling dope out of the drug house. We're posted up. We're doing the game thing, and these guys try to come and rob us. And things, a big riot, a big fight broke out. Knives were pulled out and everything. It was wild. It was all over the place. And by the time it was all said and done, two guys had run away. One collapsed in the alley, and he bled out and he died. And so, we heard about it. We're all scared. They have the whole blocks all taped off, lights, everything. It's like, oh no, this is bad.
Yeah.
Didn't hear nothing that night.
Anyone get
And
home
I go
that night?
home. No, I go home. I'm waiting for the cops to kick down my door any minute. I was scared, but they didn't. And so some time passed. All of a sudden, a month passed, 2 months, 3 months. Like, we're out there still in the streets, and people are telling us, yeah, the cops are out here. They're talking about you guys. They're investigating this. And so 6 months down the road, I hear that my co-accused got picked up for it. I'm driving back and forth from Moose Jaw to Regina for school and for leveling up. I drive back, and I go to pick up weed at Buddy's house, and they're doing a raid on his house. I walk in on a raid, and they're like,
That's
put the
weird.
flashlight on my eyes.
It's usually the cops that come busting in, not the criminals.
It's a thing, man. You know what? It's a thing when they're doing a raid. If you're doing a raid on a drug house, people are going to come there while you're doing the raid. Like,
Oh, man.
it's a drug house. So that's what happened to me. I walked in on a raid. They say, what's your name? I say, Owen. His eyes light up. He's like, whoa, like he hit the fireworks or something. They arrest me, and I'm like, what am I getting arrested for? Because as a gangster, you're always getting arrested for different things. So I wasn't surprised, but I was like, what am I getting arrested for now? And I just said, Owen Pelletier, you're under arrest for murder. And as soon as he said that, it just like, dong, everything just went, I was like, what? Mm-hmm. I couldn't, I had that, everything slowed down in slow-mo. I was like, whoa. So they're emptying out my pockets. They take out everything, and they take me to jail. And I'm sitting in the cells, and I'm scared, man. I'm thinking my life is over. I think I'm going to the pen for the rest of my life. They're trying to get me to cooperate. They had me in that cell in that interview room 5 hours, grilling me. I didn't give them nothing. I said, F off, leave me alone, F off, shut up, get out of here, take me back to my cell. It's not the States where you say, I want to talk to my lawyer, leave me alone, and they leave you alone. It's not how it works here. This ain't the movies. They sat me in there for 5 hours grilling me, even though I said, I want a lawyer, leave me alone.
Really?
No, we get to stop when we want to stop, they said.
Really? I didn't know
Yes, that's real. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what happened anyways.
So much for the right to remain. Well, I guess you could remain silent, and sounds like
you could remain silent, but that's not going to stop them from questioning you, interrogating you. I had my head down, not saying nothing, and they finally gave up after like 2 hours of not saying nothing with my head down. They finally gave up. Yeah. It was like 5 hours altogether, and so I was in the correctional, and I'm thinking my life is over. I'm thinking I'm going to the pen, and it was crazy, man. Fortunately, it worked out where my co-keys got picked up before me. He got legal aid. I got picked up. They said, we can't give you legal aid. It's going to be conflict of interest. Here's a paid attorney, pro bono. Oh, got lucky, So he ended up getting me out on bail on Christmas Eve. My uncle bailed me out for $1,000, and I went to live at his house on house arrest with no ankle monitor as well. Like, people who have a murder charge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bail?
And no
you don't really hear
bracelet?
that.
Yeah.
They knew I didn't do it. They knew I was there, but because I didn't cooperate is why they wanted to drag me along for the whole shit. And because I was gained up, but they couldn't prove it. Yeah. And they tried to prove it in court. And, my lawyer, he was top notch. He was on that. He had me. And he got me out.
I
got out.
Sorry, we got a couple of comments coming in here. We've got one from Leah, saying it happens way too often. Yes, it does. We've got another one from Dana. Thanks, Dana. They assume and judge on what you do not say in so-called body language. Dana, have you been there before? You've been interrogated a couple times? Uh-huh. No, look, there's no comments now, is there? Uh-huh. So tell us about court. What was court like? And so okay, so you're out, you're on house arrest with no ankle bracelet.
Right.
So you're not staying in the, are you staying at home? Are you keeping yourself
Well,
out of trouble?
I am for a while, for a few months, and then I kind of start going out. The probation officer lets me have time out, and I'm going out. I'm seeing my bros, and they see me out on bail. They come and find me at Moore's. I'm getting a suit for court, and they come and find me in Moore's, and they put a big wad of cash in my hand. Here, bro. Here, boom, shake. That's it.
Yeah.
And there was nothing needed to be said. It was for keeping my mouth shut and keeping a G. And here you go. And next thing I know, I got my higher up status too. And
So did you get a nicer suit?
I did. I took that back and said, never mind, I want this one. I told that clerk, it was just because that happened right in front of him. He was like, whoa.
Whoa,
I was like, yeah, I know.
some
Let's
gang
get
shit
that
going
one
on
now.
here. Give this guy a discount. Yeah. So okay, you got a suit, you got leveled up, and now you're going to court. What's that like?
I'm thinking this level up is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be cool. And it wasn't. All it did was brought more heat on me. The cops are on me more. They're watching me more. And
So they knew you leveled up. They were onto you?
I think they just had that knowledge because I went into jail for that and I was on the gain range and I didn't cooperate with them. So all those three factors together, they're on you, man. You know what I mean? So I go to court and I get arrested right at the courtroom, right in my new shiny suit and all that. They arrest me right in front of my sisters. And my lawyer's like, what is this? My lawyer's like, what's going on? This is garbage. You can't do this. And I'm like, yeah, no, this is what they do. And so my lawyer's like, don't say nothing. Don't say. I was like, I know the routine,
Yeah,
right?
I know that much. So, you better not charge me for that advice.
They had me on camera talking to bro in the bar, and bro is a
no.
gangster. I'm not supposed to be in the bar. I'm not supposed to be talking to no gangsters. So they throw me back in. I go back in 3 months. My lawyer gets another bail here and gets me out again. I'm shocked. I'm like, whoa, okay. No ankle monitor again. So I'm out for another 3 months. And then I take off again, and I'm partying with bros at his house. Bro's house gets raided while we're partying there. We try to run out the back door. The cops are in the backyard. The cops are running in with their guns out. Get down, get down. So, and I was going to lie about my name. And they're like, Owen, what are you doing here? Aren't you on house
Why would
arrest?
you lie? They're like, oh, shit, it's Bill. What's up, Bill? I know how this goes.
Back in again.
Yeah.
3 more months. Then my lawyer comes to me and says, Owen,
Stop fucking around.
I can get
bro.
you out one more time, but
Yeah.
this is it. If you mess this up, I can't get you out no more. I was like, yes, we're going to be good this time. Yes.
This time will be
So
different.
It got me out, and that's right before trial happened. Right before trial happened, I got a text from my uncle. He said, congratulations, you must feel like $1 million. I was like, why? Check out the news. All of a sudden, my co-accused took a deal, 7 years manslaughter. They dropped the charge on me.
So wait a
Close
minute
call,
now.
man.
Wait a minute. I feel like we missed something here.
You probably did.
So you, yeah, you went into court and someone like tried to like point the finger at you, didn't they?
Yeah, so they had a witness there, you know. He was in our clique. He was a part of our gang. He was in our, like, within the gang, there's cliques within the gang. So we had our own clique, and this guy was a part of our clique, and the cops got to him, and they broke him. They scared him. And so next thing I know, he's wearing a wire. He's trying to meet me and bro, trying to get us to talk. And I go to court, and all of a sudden they say, this guy's in the box, and they're asking him, can you see him here? And he looks, and he says, nope. There's a little small courtroom. And then the prosecutor's like, are you sure? Look again, right? And so he looks again. He's like squinting really bad. He's like, there he is right there. He cut his hair. He dyed his hair. He has a suit on. I was looking the part, man. Like, this is, you know, this is court
It's
time.
like, I think that's him, but too classy though. So
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So what was going, like, whatever happened to that guy?
He took house arrest. I mean, he took witness protection. And so I'm reading the disclosure in the correctional. They have a box of disclosure. I'm reading it. The guy is singing away in the disclosure, and he's like, can I get an advance on my witness protection check so I can go get my stuff out of the pawn shop before you guys move me across the country? I was like, whoa, okay,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, getting raided. That must have turned into a normal thing.
Getting raided is a normal thing in the gang life, especially with alcohol as well. And just, I've been raided at gang houses. I've been raided at my own house. They're looking for drugs. They're looking for money. If you're a gangster and you're involved with gangsters who are making moves, you got a target on your back, and all they need is the littlest of excuse to go kick down your door. They kicked down my door at my mom's in Moose Jaw when I was living there too, and they're like looking all over. They have a big list of things that can't fit in cupboards and drawers, and they're looking all over and all these things, right? It's just an excuse for them to dig through your life and see what they can find, more or less.
Yeah. So when you got out, you walk out of the courtroom in your deadly suit. Did the gang start come and find you, or was that all over, or how did that go?
So when the murder charge was dropped against me, I continued to work for a while, welding at ABC Welding, and I wasn't really too active with the gang at that time. I kind of wasn't. Certain members I was, so I was still using, and I was still drinking, and I was still using a lot, and then it started increasing where I was using a lot more. I was using daily, and it was just getting where I couldn't manage it anymore. I couldn't manage work and my using and my family and all that. It was just it was going downhill quick. So in 2017, I had enough, man. I was, feeling sick and tired of that life.
Mm-hmm. Was there like a pivotal moment, or was it just enough?
I feel like I kind of matured and came to that point in my life after almost being in the pen how many times, almost being in the ground how many times, getting shot at, getting stabbed, all of that. I'm like, my luck is about to run out here. Like, gangster life is not longevity. They don't have a long life. So I'm not stupid. I can figure this out. Something's got to give here. And I'm like, you know what? I need help. I need serious help. I need to deal with these addictions. So I went and I picked up the phone and I called the addictions worker in Regina and I said, yo, I need help. Can you send me to treatment, please? I've never been to treatment or detox, but I know this is what I need. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, go to AA, go to NA, go to some meetings. And that just totally turned me right off. And I said, whatever. And I went back out there for a couple more weeks. Then I go back, I phone again. I'm like crying. I need treatment. I need treatment. She's like, okay, send you to treatment. Cree Nation's Treatment Haven, Atakiku Preserve, an hour west of PA. Okay. That was a beautiful experience. That's a 35-day program, and it's beautiful. It's cultural based. And so that's when I first met another straight up member there. And, we were roommates, and we were from the different cities, so we knew which gang each other was from. Okay. Like we were rivals, but we're in treatment centers, so we're humans at that point.
So this was.
So he's telling me.
This was it for you. This was the turning point.
Yeah, I would say so.
Mr. House. Sorry, we gotta do that shit.
Turning point. I like it.
Okay, so you met a straight up member from different gangs.
Met a straight up member. Ground. Common ground. He's telling me about straight up.
Hang on, we had a glitch. I guess we're getting the turning point twice tonight. It's his first night.
Double point. Double love.
Yeah, we love you, Mr. House. Keep up the good work.
You're doing all right. Stay strong. Stay focused. So he tells me about straight up. I was like, wow, that sounds great. He's like, but it's in Saskatoon. I'm from Regina. There's no straight up in Regina. I was like, I really want to be involved with this, but, I don't have nowhere to live in Saskatoon. It seemed unrealistic for me at that point. So I went back to Regina. I went to one NA meeting. One. And I was so proud of myself. I said, yes, I deserve a treat for doing this.
Oh, no.
And, that's what happened. So I went and got a treat. Boom. Next thing I know is about 7 months later, her and I weren't getting along. This is my second baby mama. I have a son with her, and we can't get along anymore. So she takes me to Moose Jaw, where my mom and sister live. She drops me off there, leaves me there. At that time, I was really codependent. I felt like I needed her to survive and live. And I found out that I didn't. I just needed myself and some proper guidance. And so, that's how that went. So I was in Moose Jaw, and I stayed out there for a while. And I feel like Moose Jaw was really important transition in my story, because in Regina, it's like this, looking down, you, what's up? What's up? There's no smiles or how are you?
Yeah.
That's not it. That's not where I come from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in Moose Jaw, the friendly city. Everybody, oh, hi, how are you? And I'm like,
Yeah. Would you call me?
I'm okay. What's up?
Yeah.
So I had to go through that time to learn how to let that guard down and just to be a decent human being, to be kind, to be nice, to smile and greet people.
Yeah.
And so at that, I was really training myself at this time too, because before I went to Cree Nations, I was listening to motivational speakers, and then I go into Cree Nations and I'm sharing some of the things that I hear. And one of my friends says, "You sound like a motivational speaker." And I thought, what? What's she talking about? And then she planted the seed in my mind, and I dwelled on this. I agonized over it, right? I was like, okay, I'm not a big motivational speaker, but I'm a gangster from Regina. There's a lot of young lost lives out there that need guidance. Maybe, just maybe, I could be that guy to guide these guys. Maybe I could be that mentor that I needed in my life at that time that I didn't have. Wow, that would give my life meaning. That would give my life purpose. That would mean I didn't waste all those years out there. I was ascertaining knowledge. I got my PhD in the streets, man. You can't go pay for that at any school. You got to earn that the hard way.
Yeah,
and that's valuable. And I didn't realize I was valuable for the longest time. Yeah. I had to hear that like 1,000 times before I realized, hey, there is value there.
Yeah,
It's how you choose to use it, though, right?
Wasn't all for waste. So at some point you ended up coming back to Saskatoon, and you got some clean time, correct?
So addictions is a hard battle, man, and I've battled with addiction, struggled with it for over 20 years. So another major thing that, I struggled with it. When I was in Moose Jaw, I continued to struggle with my addictions as well, even going through school and everything. I just couldn't win. And so, I had a plan. I was doing my level 3 welding in Moose Jaw, and I was going to do my journeyman test and move to BC and be this big, jazzy, successful welder. And I'm praying, I'm doing my welding test, and I passed level 3 welding, but I failed the journeyman test. Devastated. I felt like God let me down, right? At that time. But now when I reflect, I realize he had a plan, but I didn't know at that time. Mm-hmm. So I go back to that bottle and those drugs. I'm suffering. I'm in bad shape.
We did the turning point too soon. Again, we did the same thing for Mario a couple weeks ago. We did it too early.
That's all right. We're good. So I go to detox in Moose Jaw.
Okay.
16 days. Then I say I need treatment afterwards. They have detox and treatment set up like that for a reason. Mm-hmm. Some people only go to detox or only treatment. I strongly suggest you go to detox then treatment. That's how it's designed for a reason. And when I finally did that is when I finally was able to get my clean time together. So I went to Saskatoon to Collar Treatment Center. I want to be a motivational speaker. That's my dream. I'm practicing in Moose Jaw. Even though I'm struggling, I never let go of my dream. I always believed in it. So all of a sudden I'm at Calder. Wednesday I go to Calder. Thursday morning, Straight Up shows up there. Father Andre and one of the Straight Up members, and they do the whole Straight Up presentation. I was like, hey man, I want to join you guys. I want to be a part of this. He's like, yeah, for sure. This is how you do it. He shows me the goals and the conditions. I met them. I did what I had to do. I wrote my auto bio. 2 weeks later, while I was still a client at Calder, I'm at Kilbert Hall with Straight Up, sharing my story to all the young guys there, and I could see myself sitting in each one of those guys. That was me. I was there. I was you guys. I went through that. Difference is you guys don't have to go that way and suffer like I did. I'm here to tell you guys, Straight Up is here to tell you guys there's a better way. You can go this way. We'll guide you. We'll help you. We'll support you. And so when I went through that experience, the feeling of meaningful purpose and my calling had been found, like all these feelings just hit me. And I was like, whoa, man, this is for real. This is big stuff here, man. This, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined straight up. I'm in Calder. And I'm thinking I have to go to BC to find a recovery home. I'm thinking this is what I need. One of the staff says, no, there's a recovery home here in Saskatoon. It's called McLeod House. Here's the application. I fill it out, send it in, go for an interview. Even though they didn't have spots at that time, as soon as I went for my interview, spot just happened to open up. Divine design, my friend, divine design.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, we got a couple more questions, and then we're going to go into the viewer's voice. So if any of the viewers have any comments or questions, or you just, want to say something nice to Owen or something mean to Owen, just throw it in the chat, and we'll make sure we'll do our best to get to everyone. So tell us, what was it like your first year in recovery? What was that like for you?
I felt like it was really euphoric. I was on top of the world. They talk about this pink cloud. And they say it only lasts like a month or less. Like I was pink clouded for a long time, man. Because I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I joined straight up. They're doing presentations. They're giving me the opportunity to speak to live audience. I'm on top of the world, man. You know what I mean? I'm a motivational speaker in training here. I'm sober. I'm clean, like for the first time in my life, on my own, not by jail or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So it was just a lot of euphoric feelings, and just like I was, shedding that old life for the new life. And I was so stoked about it because I didn't really feel like, I was unsure that I was worthy of it because of the things I've been through and the things I've done and seen. Do I deserve this? There's that self-doubt. So I get myself a sponsor. He helps me work the steps. And I'm going to meetings heavily. And this is beautiful, man. It was a gorgeous time. Really beautiful. Dreams are coming true.
That sounds like about the time we met, yeah. Yeah, the 9 o'clock.
I remember you there. I remember what you said too. We still need to have a talk about that.
What did I say? Probably some bullshit. Like, I don't know. Anyways, so now you're working. Well, now I'm wondering, what did I say?
No, I was sharing some of my story, and you're like, you got to be careful about sharing your past story because you could stay stuck there. And
did I say that?
Yeah, that was after I shared. I was like, what the hell?
I was 5 minutes clean, man. I apologize, man. I hope you'll accept my apology. Good. Yeah. No, I thought I knew something back then. So you're clean, and you survived Dan's comments, which is amazing. And so now there's a sim program. That's what you're doing today.
Right.
So tell us a little bit about the sim program.
Okay, well, I joined Straight Up when I was in Calder, and I've been a member of Straight Up since I moved to Saskatoon, so about 2.5 years. And so I'm staying heavily with them. I'm volunteering my time. It's an outreach program. They're helping me to find resources and just guiding me. And so I'm in school now, thanks to them. They helped me get back into school. And then last October, September, they had a job opening for lived experienced mentors, and only Straight Up members could apply for it. So I went and applied. I wasn't sure, checked it out, because they had got money from the government last year for the SIM program. I'll try to explain it as best as I can, but the government got, I think it's the provincial government got $1 million from the federal government, and that money was to go to the gang problem in Saskatchewan. So they put $750,000 over 4 years to Straight Up, and they put the other one to Ritz's and Regina, the rest of the money. And so it's a new program piloted. It's called the CIM, Community Intervention Model. Straight Up has 2 streams. The regular stream that I joined, there's no age limit. You refer yourself. Nobody can refer you. You got to phone and refer yourself to get into Straight Up. Now there's the SIM program. Those are 15 to 30-year-olds, high risk to reoffend, active in the game, and they're referred by probation, lawyers, judges, case managers, what have you. Mm-hmm. And so I'm a lived experienced mentor for the SIM program, but I'm also a member of Straight Up. Straight Up members are not down with their gain anymore. We left the gain. The SIM members, they're still gain active. So we're trying to get them to work our philosophy where they can transition to become straight up members. That's the idea.
That's really amazing. Okay, well, that's all the questions that I have. So we'll go into the viewer's voice and see what they got to say. Okay, what do we got here? Oh, we've got Dana. Hang on a sec. Here we go. She has not been interrogated.
Yet.
Is that maybe she's just trained to say that, keep my mouth shut. So we've got Wilmina. So glad you can. Oh, look, we even get the little emoji in there. That's deadly.
Yes.
Wilmina says, glad you can have a sense of humor about all this. So much trauma attached to the judicial system. Yes, Wilmina, there certainly is. We've got Leah Stewart coming in. Leah, thank you for the comment. Good for you, she says. We've got Wilmina again. Says, awesome that you were able to get into treatment in a reasonable amount of time.
Yes.
Yeah. So how long was it? So I'm having a brain fart here. How long was it between? So you went to detox, and then you did go to treatment.
Yeah.
You called her. How
Right.
long was it between those two?
When I was in detox, they were taking names and saying, who wants to go to treatment now? We'll put you on the list. There's a bit of a list. But it was right before Christmas time, and I
Right.
knew, well, there's going to be people that want to go home for Christmas that are going to not go through with it. I'm probably going to get in one of those spots. And of course, you're praying and having the faith and all that. And that's how it aligned for me. Someone left, and I took their spot. So
there
it
was
was
no wait.
like, there was like a week wait. So I was able to go get my clothes and all that and get ready and then make my way. And that week wait, I was tested during that week too as well. I
Where
was
did you stay during that week?
in Moose Jaw at my sister's for a couple of days, and then I went to Regina for a couple of days, and then I made my way back to Moose Jaw to Calder. But I was tested, and the thing what saved me was that, I'm going to McLeod House. They're going to piss test me. Can't have dirty piss. So I go to McLeod, and that didn't happen. But I'm glad that I thought it was, because that got me through that point.
Yeah. We've got Megan chiming in. Megan, thanks for the comment. If the drugs don't kill you, the lifestyle will. So glad you turned your life around. Amazing story. Relate a lot to this. Yes. Thank you, Megan. And your boss never did claim her Menchie's gift cards, by the way. So I'm going to give them away again. There's going to be another contest for Menchie's gift cards, you guys. You had your chance. Okay, so we've got Dana again with some words of reassurance to Mr. House. I think many turning points is better than no turning points.
That's right. Fall down 7, get up 8.
That's right. We'll keep doing it. We got Megan again. Unfortunately, right now, wait times between detox and treatments are months long, literally killing people. Yes, Megan,
Yeah.
that is true. We've got Wilmina. I spent several hours on the phone 2 weeks ago looking for rehab space in Saskatchewan. Shortest wait I found was 4 weeks. Way too long. You're correct. Us addicts, we are an impulsive bunch. When we want something, we want it right now. She says it's way too long, and space between detox and rehab can be a death sentence. Yes, it can.
Yeah.
What do we got here? I've got Dana. Owen, our community and youth are so lucky to have you. I am so blessed to have crossed paths with you and cannot wait to see how far you go. So much love.
Thanks, Dana. I appreciate you. You're awesome. Keep up the good work.
We've got Claudia chiming in. Claudia, thank you for the comment. Sim program sounds awesome. How can we broaden the word out there?
How can we broaden the word out there? Good question. Phone the office. Ask them that. They're gonna guide you. They're gonna help you. We got someone on the phones that handles that specifically.
Okay, I'll post that. I'll post the phone number. Owen will give me the phone number, and I will post it on the Hard Knocks Facebook page, so anybody who would like to make contact with them can certainly do so. So, we've got Candy Trache. Candy, thank you for the comment. So proud of you. You're an awesome role model for our people. Keep it up. And
Thanks,
finally,
Candy.
we have our friend Amanda. Amanda Stark, thank you for watching, Amanda. XOXO. We love you too, my friend.
Right on, Amanda. Hugs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that is all that I have. Oh, wait. Oh, Claudia's just saying thank you for the number. We don't have it yet, but she's being proactive. So, my friend, is there anything that you would like to leave us with tonight?
Yeah, I wanted to share a quick story if that's all right. And also, if anybody wants to contact me, I do presentations for the communities. You can email me at Prestigious Pelletier. I have a YouTube channel, Prestigious Pelletier. And also, I want to share this story in closing. So I went to go visit my son in Regina one summer. He was 4 years old. I drove there, and I was tired after work. By the time I got there, he was all excited. Come play, Daddy, come play. And I said, my boy, I'm tired. I want to just go to bed. And he says, okay. I said, tomorrow. I promise. Tomorrow will be me and your day. We'll play all day. He says, okay, Daddy. I give him a kiss. He goes up to bed. Next morning, I'm having my coffee, reading the newspaper. I can hear him get up. He comes running down the stairs all excited. Daddy, today's the day. And I said, today's the day for what? And he said, me and you, we're going to play. I said, yes, you're right. But I wasn't quite done reading my paper, drinking my coffee. Wanted to buy myself a few minutes. So I remembered, I said, come here for a minute. I went back a couple pages of the newspaper, and there's a picture of a globe. I showed him. I said, you see this globe? He says, yeah. I rip it out. I said, hold out your hands. I rip it into 10 pieces. I put it in his hands. I say, go put this on the coffee table. Put this puzzle together for me. Once it's together, then me and you are going to play. And he's, okay. Goes away. I'm thinking it should take him 5-10 minutes. He's 4 years old. Reading my newspaper. 2 minutes later, his little hand comes and pulls down that newspaper. Daddy,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I said, what? I was surprised. What do you mean you're done? I look at the coffee table. It's all put together. I look. His mom is still asleep upstairs. He didn't have no help. I says, how did you do that so fast? And so he revealed to me that when I put the pieces in his hand, he went to go put it on the coffee table. When he put it down, one of the pieces fell over. And when the piece fell over, there's a picture of a man's hand on it. So then when he put all the pieces over, there's a picture of a man. So all he had to do was put the man together and then put the pieces over, and the globe was together. And then I had a realization. All my life, for so many years, I was out there trying to make the world come together for me, trying to force it to work for me, and it would never work. It wasn't until I stopped that and I ceased and I started to put the man together within, then the world came together for me.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for sharing your story and your inspiration. And we're going to let you go. So take care.
Thanks for having me on the show, Dan. Thanks, House. Good job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Mr. House, call to action. Fostering change is our primary purpose here at Hard Knocks Talks. If you would like to contribute to ending the stigma around emotional pain, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Let us come together with our lived and living experience as a resource that has the power to engage new thought processes, to promote new ideas, to broaden the spectrum of care, and to show the world that the lie is dead. We do recover, and we're here to show you how. Good night. Mr. House, take Prestigious Pelletier down. And you gotta click the red stop stream button at the bottom there. I forgot to tell you that. But not until this is done.